it's Ginger again from In Sheep's Clothing, and with another segment of Focus on Fiber Arts. Today I want to talk to you about quick, easy crocheted bags. This one here is done with a big, thick, chunky acrylic wool blend, and this is one of those things that you can actually do like maybe in a couple sittings. And then what I did is I have a tendency that when I have a stitch or a shape or just a particular style of something that I like, I will change it around and just keep using the same idea but just making different things. So this was my initial original bag that I made, and this was cute for the winter time, but then I thought come summertime I wanted to do something similar. So this was a summer version. Now this one here, it's this yarn, and it's again it's a 50-50, but this one is an acrylic and cotton blend. And what I did with this was, because the yarn was a little bit thinner, actually a lot thinner, because this one I just used single strand, and you can see how chunky it is, and I think I used like a end hook on it. This one I doubled the yarn to get a chunkier weight yarn, and still get somewhat of a similar look. So, and then what I did to change it was I made a different bottom, and we put a little bit different kind of handle on it. So what I wanted to do today was to show you how to start a bag like this. I like to keep things, if you can't already tell, nice and simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice chunky yarn here, and we start with the bottom of the bag for this particular style. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do the whole bag, but I'm going to chain on some stitches. And this is, I think, this is an L hook, so still not quite as chunky as the other one. So what I do is I'm just going to put on this much. Now what I'm going to do to make the bottom of the bag is I'm going to crochet around the chain, which will give me this little bottom segment, kind of like an oval. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the next hole, next chain, and I'm going to do a single crochet. And what I'll do is I'll go and do a single crochet all the way across the row, or all the way across the chain actually. And you'll also want to have a marker with you as well, because you want to keep track of your beginning and end of the round, because you'll be working in rounds. And sometimes it's really easy to lose track of where exactly you are. So I'm getting to the very end here. And now what I want to do is, I'm in my last chain. I'm going to work 1, 2 more. So now I have 3. And what I want to do is just take a marker, and I just want to put a marker where that second chain was, where the second single crochet was. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way around the other side. So I'm going to go into the other half of the chain. Now the reason that I did 2 additional single crochets in that corner is to keep it from puckering. See, it'll give it a nice flat look. If I didn't do that, it would go up like a cup. So I'm going to go across. And actually, I put my marker in the wrong place. Marker is actually, that's one end, but we want to really keep track of where our first end is. So what I should have done was just put my marker. That's where my first single crochet was. So I'm in the last one. What I want to do is I want to slip stitch into where that marker was, just like that, and slip. Okay, so there's my marker to show my beginning and my end. And what you would do at this point is you would do another 3 single crochets in the corner. And my marker's just in the wrong place there. Just going to move it a little bit. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And I split my stitch. Be careful with that. Just like that. There we go. So it gives us a nice flat one. So now, depending on how big you want the bottom of the bag, you will just continue going around and around and continue increasing in each corner so that it will stay flat. So we'll just do this one more time around. I'm going to make a little mini baby bag here. Now if you want to make a round bottom bag, you could have we could have worked in a spiral here too, and it just gives you a little different shape, which actually is quite a really cute bag. We'll have to do that another time. So I'm getting around, and if you wanted to, you could even probably put a marker here too. And what I'm going to do is go right into that corner stitch, or corner single crochet, and I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. Give us our nice little turn, and then continue to single crochet around. I really like working with the chunky yarn because it really does work up super fast. Okay. So now in my pattern, what I would do, okay, so we're going to get to where your marker is. So where this marker is, I'm just going to slip this out for a second, is I'm just going to slip stitch in to connect, okay? And then I'm just going to put my marker back here again so I don't lose track of where I was. And now here, what we want to do, and you can see right here in this bag, I change from single crochet to double crochet. And the same thing here with this bag, I do a double crochet. So double crochet, what we want to do first is we're going to chain up 1, 2, and 3. Now because we're in the corner, we're going to do 2 more double crochets in the same corner. Like that. Now this is where your chain is considered a double crochet. So technically you have 3 double crochets here in your corner. So double crochet, just to make sure that you remember your double crochet, is instead of single crochet going right into the single crochet, you wind the yarn around your hook once, go into, and I like to go into both, you know how you have your V stitch there for the chain. I just go right through, pull up my loop, and I like to pull it all the way up, wrap around your hook, wrap around your hook, you go through 2, wrap around your hook, and you go through 2 again. So, and we're going to continue going into each of the single crochets. So again, wrap around the hook, go into the single crochet, pull up a loop. And I like to pull it up nice and high so I get a nice tall double crochet. Wrap it around my hook again, pull through 2, wrap around the hook, pull through 2 again. And we're going to do this all the way around. Now, depending on what size bag that you want to make, I love to give people options. I don't like to just say, okay, this is how you make it and that's it. Because when I look at a pattern, I'm always thinking, well, what else can I do? How can I change this? How can I make this to be my bag, be the bag that I want to carry and the right size? So you might decide that maybe you want to do more than, I have two rounds of double crochet here. Maybe you want to do a few more. Maybe you only want to do 1. Maybe you want more of the design. That's totally up to you. Maybe the base of the bag you want to be a little shallower or a little deeper. So you'll do your double crochet all the way around. Now, because we're increasing around each corner, we're getting more and more stitches, which is making the bottom of the bag bigger and bigger. Now, the double crochet part, because the single crochet was technically the bottom, the base of your bag, the double crochet part, what it's doing is it's making your bag stand up straight. So we're actually, after this round, are going to stop doing our increases. So I'm just going to go all the way around. I'm getting to the part where I have to do my one last 3 double crochets, and then after that it'll be straight up. And then we get to go to the really fun part, which is what they call the V stitch, another one of my favorites. So I'm going to do 1, I did 1, 2, and then 3, all in the same hole, or same stitch, I guess, and then go continue back into our next one. People ask me if crochet is easier than knitting, and I think it just totally depends on whether you started out with it first or if you started knitting first. I think I started knitting first and then learned to crochet. But I find it just a nice break from knitting sometimes. And they're coming up with so many nice designs now that you can use for crochet. I think they finally figured out that not everything has to be crocheted with a worsted weight yarn. You can do things with a much finer weight yarn that gives you a really nice look. A lot of people got kind of turned off from crochet because everything that they saw was being made out of big clunky yarn. And it's not necessarily an attractive look for everybody to wear something really big and clunky. Okay, so now I'm to the end here, to where my marker is. And what I want to do is I want to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 that I did. So right in the top of the chain 3, I'm going to just pull the yarn through and then pull the yarn through again. And there's my bottom. Okay, so now you can do this, like I said, as many times as you want to build up. And after this, you will not, okay, so we do a chain, we did our slip stitch, we do chain 3. You always have to do that because you have to chain up to the next round. And now instead of doing 3, doing 2 more in the corner, I'm just going to go into the next single crochet and do my next double crochet. And I'm going to continue that all the way around. And you're going to see that what happens is that now, instead of laying flat, it's going to start to cup. You'll see that in just a minute or 2 here. As soon as I stop splitting my yarn. But you can see already that it's going to start, because I missed those 2 additional double crochets to increase, it's going to start to stand up, which for a bag is exactly what we want. I'm going to go across, see if we can get just to the other end, the corner there, so you can really see. Nice thing about double crochet too is it just works so quickly. But you can see how it's cupping on me now. See that? There's your bottom. So there's going to be your sides. Keep splitting this. I think this pretty much gives you the basic idea. I'm almost to the corner here, because then we want to get to the V stitch, which is basically just a combination of double crochet and a chain 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so we don't have to go all the way around, maybe we'll go all the way around, we'll just keep talking here. Now if you happen to notice the scarf that's right here, that is also a V-stitch pattern, except it's done with a much finer weight sock yarn. I use a little bit bigger hook than I would normally use on a sock yarn, like a G or an H, so that it would be a little more open, and so then it would be more drapey. And again, it won't give you that really clunky. It's very pretty, very dainty, and also it doesn't hurt that it's a multicolored yarn and makes it look really pretty and different. All right, so we're getting there, almost in the home stretch here. Now this is only about, not even half the stitches that the regular bottom takes. Okay, so if you had yarn of your own, you'd be in a really good place right now with this bag. Okay, so I have one more stitch to go here. And then again, there's my chain 3. I just want to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. There we go. And then slip stitch. Okay, and what I want to do too is just move my marker up so we don't lose track. But you're always going to have that chain 3. So see how our bottom looks like a little bit of a boat now? This is another way that if you want to make a basket or something, I'm always thinking, what else can you do? We can make a basket out of this too. So now you just continue going straight up, and it's just going to go like this, straight up. So now to get into our V-stitch, because we're working double crochets again, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, chain up. But we want to add one more stitch because of our chain 1. So we actually have chain 4, and then additional one with the additional one. And now we're going to do a double crochet into the same hole. And there it's kind of like, looks a little bit like a V-stitch. It's not a perfect V-stitch yet. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to skip 1, 2 single crochets. We're going to do another double crochet into the next single crochet. There we go. Chain 1, do another double crochet in the same single crochet space, and there we have our perfect little V-stitch. So again, all we're going to do is skip 1, 2 single crochets, do a double crochet into our third one, pull up a loop, do our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and there's our really pretty little V-stitch. And you just keep doing that all the way around. Skip 2 into the third. As you go, it starts to really become just a very mindless stitch to do, but it's very, very attractive. So you just keep doing that all the way around. So you're going to have your little pattern, as you can see right here. So then you just continue following the pattern, and you go up as high as that you want it to, as high as you want the bag to be. And then what I did at the top was, once it got almost as tall as I wanted the bag to be, I just did several rounds of single crochet, just to kind of give it a border that kind of matched the bottom. Well, this is double crochet, but just kind of a border for it. And then, depending on what kind of handles you want, you have to kind of think about, well, how are we going to finish it off with the handles? This one here, what I just did was I found my center on both sides and just worked up, I think it was like 3 or 4 inches of single crochet and then just folded it over and sewed it down. And I did it on both sides. And when I sewed it down, I just put my handle in, obviously, and it just held it into place. And then the other thing that I did was make my little embellishment. Now this particular bag here, because the handles are different, this one I just sewed, because it had these kind of handles, I just sewed my handles into the bag. Now I have a few other handles here just to show you. Now you can get these little leather handles. Now these, they have holes in them here so that you can stitch through them. So just kind of imagine, you can do it this way, imagine your bag like that, and you would just stitch your handle on like that. In this case, if I were going to stitch it onto the bag, what I would be doing is I would make a little lining for the inside, put the lining on, and this way I can stitch right through to the lining. It would make it more stable too, as far as the handles not stretching the bag out. But that looks really cute on there. You can also, here's another type of a handle. What you can do too is, there's just so many different ways that you can do this. What you could do is just single crochet your handle right onto the bag. And let's see if I can just turn this around and back it up just so I can show you what I'm talking about. So say that this is the top of your bag and here's your handle, or actually, because it's a little bit smaller. What you can do is you just put your handle in place. You have your yarn in the back, put your yarn, your needle, you hook through. Well, wait a minute here. Go through, pull up a loop. Okay, there we go. Then the yarn goes over the handle and you pull it through. It's a little clumsy at first, but then you go back through underneath, pull your loop up over your hook and over the handle, and you're single crocheting your handle right to the bag, over the top, over the hook, and then through. It feels really clumsy, especially when it's being attached to a tiny little bag instead of a regular bag. But you can see right there, and it makes a nice finished edge to hold your handle on as well. So you would just put that, you would center that onto your bag and then just attach it that way. So you could just put it on like that and then just mark it. I put a marker here, marker there, and just have my yarn attached and just single crochet all the way across. And then what I would probably do is, well, no, you could slip stitch across, do the other handle, slip stitch around, and then you're done. This way all the sides are nice and even. Another thing that you can do, I'll show you really, really super fast, is say that you want to make a little flower for your bag. Is you take your yarn, the appropriate hook for this, you would just chain. I'm just going to chain, say 10 stitches on here. Oops, get the right end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make it 6. So now what you do is you're going to increase in each chain across. So I'm going to do 1 and 2 in the same single crochet. 1, 2 in the same single crochet. What this is going to do is it's going to start to kind of increase and kind of make like a half circle. And then the next row, you would just chain up and do the same thing. Go in, chain 2, and you can do this with knitting too. It works the same way. And this is how I did the flower that's on there right now. 1, 2. And what happens is it just creates this little spiral. You can see it's starting to spiral on itself. And the longer that you make it, the bigger your flower is going to be. Just want to get this done here. But I really hope that you're going to give this a try. It's a lot of fun. The bags are great. You can do it in any kind of yarn that you want. Nothing like carrying your own bag for the season. So there's our little almost flower, and see how it just kind of curls in on itself? The more rows you do, the deeper it's going to be. Just that little kind of flowerette there. So there you go. And I just want to thank you once again for spending the time with me here at Focus on Fiber Arts. And if you're interested in making any of these items, wanted to check out the patterns on this, you can always check out the website. Thanks.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.